Hello, Michelle. How's it going today?
Hey, Lindsay, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Michelle, who do you usually celebrate the holidays with?
I would say family, but sometimes recently there was a holiday that we went to our friend's house. Well, a couple times actually, been to friends' houses. Just if our family isn't in town or it's more convenient.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely family. I would say either East Coast or in Colorado. So depending
Yeah.
on if I go to my brother's house, it'll be all of his wife's family. So extended families, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. So when we talk about other people, things can get confusing when we're with a certain group. So especially if the person we're talking to doesn't know the people. Like, have you ever been in a situation where a couple people were talking and they went to high school together and
Yes.
you met them later on in life and then they're just talking about it and you're like, all right, like
It's
I guess
so
I'll just
boring.
zone out. Like, it's fine. Because you get it. It's fun
get it.
to have that, for them to have that connection moment. So you don't want to get in the way, but you're just like, okay, yeah, that's
Yes.
great. Like,
Exactly. So, but again, we're all about connection moments here on All Ears English, and so we need a skill. What is the skill we need to have then, Michelle, to be able to pull people in so that doesn't happen?
right. So it's important to give context, to explain, give a bit of a background, instead of just saying, "Oh, and Stacy, remember when Stacy did this and blah 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 blah," and they're all talking about Stacy, and you're like, "I don't."
Yes, totally. 100%. So we're getting into this. So instead of just saying people's names, you pull in someone who maybe doesn't know Stacy by giving them context of who they are and why we should care, right? In a way.
Right. So like by context, we mean, describing the relationship briefly so it makes sense to the other person. So like if someone asks me who I spent the holidays with, I'm not going to just say random people's names. Oh, I spent the holidays with Joe and Bob and Steven.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Because if the
Great.
listener doesn't know them, they're going to feel confused or even disconnected. And certainly we don't want that.
Exactly. I can't wait to get into this skill together because it's very key. Obviously our listeners know this in their native languages, but we need this as a connection skill in English. So guys, go ahead and hit follow right now on the show so you don't miss any one of our amazing 5 episodes a week here on All Ears English. Also, why not send the show to a friend today? Go ahead and think of one friend who also believes in connection, not perfection. Open your text message and send them a link to the show wherever you like to listen. Okay?
Definitely. So,
Yes.
but Lindsay, why does this matter?
Oh, it matters so that no one loses the conversation, right? They don't lose the thread, as we say. Don't let them have that moment. As you said, Michelle, it's okay. You get it. It's fine. If they went to high school together, you can zone out for a minute, but maybe that doesn't have to happen. Instead, you pull people in and show them maybe why this person might actually be relevant to you, right?
Right. Exactly. And this will help them follow the conversation and connect them with the story and also feel included, and that, I mean, again, they weren't there. Maybe it's not that, serious to them, but okay, they have some connection. Maybe they probably went to high school. There might be some ways in which you can make it seem a little more relevant or interesting to them. And even if it's not going to be super interesting to them, at least you show that you've tried or you understand that, okay, yeah, we're talking about something that we know and sorry, and we're gonna get back to you,
Exactly. And that's the key to connection, is to feel included, right?
Yes.
That should be one of our number one goals. We want to be clear, we want to sound confident, but we want to include people because that's what builds relationships.
Exactly.
And this was actually inspired, Michelle, by an experience that I had.
Tell us.
Yeah. So back in this was back around Thanksgiving of 2025. It was a while ago now. I was out in California with my partner and we went to see my partner's friend from high school. We went up to near Santa Monica to have dinner with her and her parents. So it was my partner's friend and her parents. And someone's name came up. Let's say Natasha. Natasha came up, and this was someone that my partner's friend had gone and my partner had gone to school with, and the parents were there. And so what my partner's friend said, let's just call her Denise, for example. So Denise said to her mom, "You remember Natasha, right? She was in the drama club with me." Before that, her mom was kind of spacing out, like Natasha, who is this person? She didn't really care. She didn't know. But Denise reminded her mom about who this person was and why they mattered. Right. And then I also didn't know Natasha because I didn't know Denise, right, in school. So she said to me, this is someone that we both went to school with back in middle school, meaning my partner and Denise. So I hope I just didn't lose our listeners there, but Natasha, Denise, to follow it. It's this unknown party whose name comes up.
Right, exactly.
And only some of you at the table know who this person is. You need to pull in the other people. And the other people in this case were me and Denise's mom. Okay.
Right. I mean, imagine if Lindsay, if the two of us were right now talking and we're like, oh yeah, so like if we throw out names, it's usually because somebody might know them. So like, if we say Aubrey, you know who you know who that is. Yeah. If we say Dan, I think Dan has been mentioned enough that most people probably know as my husband, right? So like Dan is almost, I always joke with Dan. I'm like, you're a character on all your series.
Yeah, he is kind of in a way.
He's a supporting character. But like, yeah, exactly. So, but it would be weird if we were just talking and we're like, I mean, it would just show that we're not paying attention to our listeners. We're not thinking about them. So the key here is to just really tailor your explanation to the person you're talking to. So in this situation, Lindsay, it sounds like your friend gave context for both her mom and for you.
Yes.
Right? So she tailored it.
Exactly. So she took that extra step, the extra work. Right. So if she just said, remember Natasha, her mom might have been confused. It was so long ago. It was middle school or elementary school. But there was that little extra context. She was in the drama club with me. That probably triggered because her mom probably dropped her off at drama club, and maybe she knew Natasha's mom. Right. Right. And you could always go further if her mom was like, oh, I don't know. And, you know, if it's important, you might say, you might either say, it doesn't matter. Or you might say, no, remember, like her mom was the friendly one who always helped with the cookie sale. You know what I mean? You can keep on going with it if it's important for her to give
know.
people the image, because it brings the conversation to life more. I mean, the mom could have just said, okay, I don't really know who it was, you know, but it's fun when she can actually put a face to a name and actually, okay, that's who you're talking about.
You know, that moment where then you realize who it is. Cool. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, I remember. She was, you know.
Fun. That is really fun. I agree completely. And then to me, she said, this is someone we both went to school with back in middle school, because I'm totally disconnected from Denise's childhood.
You're all the way
out
out
there. I only know
there,
Denise
right?
through my partner, right?
Yeah.
So since I've never met this person, it gives me enough context to understand the story, and that's it. But she took the effort to give both of us the context, right?
Yeah, Denise sounds like a good gal.
The funny part is, I actually saw her again for the first time since this instance, again last weekend, and she was doing, but she wasn't doing this this time. She was just kind of mentioning names and not giving us any context. So
Denise, this episode is for you.
Yeah, I know. It was funny. Anyways, really funny. We don't always do this. Sometimes we just get caught up in the story and we don't. You know,
it happens. Like it's okay again, but we want to teach you guys the best way to perhaps build those connections instead of just make someone sit there like, I don't know these people. All right. I guess I'll look at my phone. You know, you can always tell. Then the person gets on just like, okay, I'm just going to take some time and look at my phone, you know?
Well, you can see the glazing over, right? In the eyes. You know, when we've lost someone, you can see their eyes are kind of like lazy. That's when you know you've done something wrong, right?
Yeah. Yes. Don't let them glaze. You got to pull them back in. All right.
Exactly.
Hey, quick question. Do you want to feel more confident when you speak English? If so, we made a free guide for you. It'll help you avoid those common mistakes and start speaking more naturally in real conversations. Go grab it in the description below. And if this is helpful for you, make sure that you like and subscribe. We're here 5 times a week to help you connect in English.
All right. Okay, Michelle. So let's give our listeners this skill because we've talked about how crucial it is. We've told a story. How can we include others when we tell stories like this?
Yeah. So again, like we mentioned, first you have to consider the relationship. So how do you know the person? So share that. So you could say my coworker from my last job, my neighbor downstairs, a friend from college, right? So you have to think about how you know the person and how you can express that.
And then, of course, you need to tailor it to the person you're talking to because you know something about the person you're trying to pull in. You know a lot about the person you're talking about. So how do we tailor it? If you're speaking to a close friend, this is someone we went to school with.
Right.
Meaning you and the close friend, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or speaking to your mother, she was in drama club with us.
Right.
Or speaking to someone new, she went to middle school with us or with me, I guess you could say.
Right. So you kind of think about how, broad, how much you're going to zoom in on it. Are you going to say, oh, she was in drama club with Mr. Henderson with, you know what I mean?
Yes.
How much are you going to zoom in? How much is important? And exactly. Yeah. Like how do they connect this to the story? That's also important. So for example, she lives in your neighborhood, or she was your coworker at your first job, or he also studied abroad in Spain. So we're connecting the relationship, how you know that person, how the other person could connect to it, and then how that person connects to the story.
Exactly. It seems like a very cumbersome topic to explain today, but I think our listeners get it. I think we know exactly what we're talking about today. So let's break into some scenarios here, Michelle, and demonstrate. All right.
So here's scenario 1. All right. I ran into Kevin the other day. He's that coworker from my last job. I used to talk about him a lot.
Oh, nice. How's he doing? Okay, so you gave me a couple of cues, a little context. He's that coworker from, and you also, interestingly, kind of added question marks, even though it's not in our writing. You added question marks at the end. He's that coworker from my last job. I used to talk about him a lot, right? You're asking me if I remember, in a sense.
I'm like giving you clues. Like, is that gonna help you remember? Is this gonna help you remember?
Yeah, it's interesting. You're prompting me.
Do you know now? Do you know now? Right. I'm prompting you.
Yeah. Next one.
All right, here's the next one. I ran into Sarah this weekend. She's my neighbor downstairs, the one whose dog is always barking.
All right. I remember you mentioning her. Did you say anything about the dog situation?
Right.
Yeah.
And again, I did it again with, I said, the one whose dog is always barking. I mean, I could say, the one whose dog is always barking, right? So you can play with it a little bit.
Yeah. You don't have to add that question mark.
No.
But that is something that native speakers will do, right?
Exactly.
You'll hear that. So next one, I ran into this guy, Andrew, at the gym today. We actually used to live in the same dorm in college. And here I'm not asking the question because
you're just telling me who it is, right? It's more.
Yeah. And the reason for that seems to me to be, oh, sorry, I cut you off. You had something to say.
No, I just say, oh, that's funny. Were you guys friends?
Yeah, sorry. And I think the reason that I didn't ask you the question of, do you remember him is because we didn't necessarily go to college together, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, we used to right. So it sounds like we didn't go to college together, or we didn't know each other in college at least.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just simply giving you context. I'm not asking if you remember because of the context I'm giving you in a way.
Right. So you have to think about your purpose here. Like how much do you need this person to know? How much could they know? Right.
Exactly. Okay. Let's roll this out in a role play, Michelle.
Roll it out in a role play. Love it.
What are we doing?
So here we are having brunch with another friend named Emma. So we also went to high school together, but our other friend did not. And you're going to tell a story.
Okay. So Emma's the one who's kind of on the outside, right?
Yes.
A little bit. Okay. I ran into Patrick at the grocery store last week. Remember him, Michelle? He went to high school with us.
Oh, yeah. How could I forget?
Emma, Patrick was super cute and really sweet. All the girls had a crush on him.
So how was he?
He still seems like a great guy and he's doing really well. He actually married Janine, his high school sweetheart, and they have 3 kids.
Wow. Time flies.
Yeah. So where was the context given? What was the context clue here?
So you said, so you're asking me, and it's interesting because written in this role play, there are question marks. So you said, remember him, Michelle? I ran into Patrick. So we have our Patrick. And then you said, remember him, Michelle? And you're not sure if I will. So you said he went to high school with us.
Yeah, because you and I have that common experience. So we both know him. So I'm prompting you with a bit of a question mark. And then I'm pulling Emma in.
Yeah.
No, Emma didn't go to high school with us, but she still needs to kind of know. It would add value for her if she knew who Patrick was, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So yeah, you said Emma, Patrick was super cute and really sweet. All the girls had a crush on him.
Yeah. So and then that way Emma can think about someone she knew who all the girls had a crush on, and she can bring that archetype into her mind.
Yes, right. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
She can get this picture. So
this is good. So what else, Michelle? Anything else we want to say about this role play?
Yeah, I mean, I just think you did a really good job here of, explaining, nobody feels left out. Everybody feels connected to the conversation. And I really like what you said about then Emma can build that archetype in her head. So remember somebody who was like that, every school has that, right? There's always
school.
So you can remember, and then who knows, that might lead into a story about someone she had a crush on. And
yes. Yeah. You never know.
So it just can bridge to so many different things too.
Yeah. The more context you give people, the more they can participate and grab onto what you're saying and add connection moments, right?
Yes, I love it.
Really good.
So if you guys want to listen to another very useful episode, check out episode 2577, which was can versus can't. 3 pronunciation tips.
Yes. And for a takeaway, I mean, I think this is really important for connection. We've already talked about why. Don't leave people hanging. Don't let them sit at that table completely disconnected while you just kind of chat with someone else about this person, John, Michael. Who is John? Who's Michael? Why should we care? Right? Everyone should feel included to some extent as much as you can. Right?
Exactly. All right. Well, I'm so glad we talked about this today. This is really interesting. And I feel like we're really setting our listeners up to make everybody feel included, connected, and that's just going to really bring positive things.
Yep, that's success right there, right? Connection is success as we define it here on All Ears English. All right, good stuff, Michelle. You have a good rest of your day.
All right, you too. Bye, Lindsay. Bye, guys.